is In Quest of Geek.
The Tavern is always the beginning of a quest. It's where the team can come together to focus on introduction, speculation, and adventure. It's your chance to learn about your favorite fandoms or discover something new. This is our Tavern team.
With you in the Tavern will be
Alix Catherine, your host and professional moderator.
Nathan, nerd analyst and examiner.
And Cole, your personal geek color commentator.
So pull up your personal character sheet and get ready to level up, because we're here to build better character.
Welcome to the Tavern team. Grab a chair and join the crew. Tonight's quest, we have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's some good show.
It was so good!
So good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I haven't seen it.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Just kidding.
I was trying to find a way to modify my response.
You guys were just so excited, and
I respect
See this
that.
joy? We're just gonna break it. Who wants to be excited or happy about anything in this world? F it. Throw it out. Throw out the joy.
People just go in the recording and you can hear both Cole and Nathan's hearts break right here. She broke it.
I was like, wait, what?
Like, this show gave me everything that I wanted, and more. So I'm so excited to talk about this with you guys.
Yeah, it was an excellent show.
It's really funny because I love the show.
Mm-hmm.
And legit, when you listen to Dungeon, because we recorded it yesterday, I was like, this show is great. It did 10 out of 10 on these things. And then I'm just going to dump on this whole list. And I was like,
sounds like Dungeon, though.
I know I listed a lot of issues, but it's a great show.
My favorite thing about Dungeon will always be, so this is great. Now we're going to poop all over this subject.
So is this going to be a compliment sandwich where you start with, really great show. Here are my list of problems. And Marvel's nice.
Right?
It's going to be like, oh, man. Don't do that.
That's why Tavern Team is so much great, because all we do is give you the opinion. I know I said so much great. That was a weird sentence. I see Alex's face.
Cole, you're not helping
weird.
our,
oh god, I can actually see you guys judge me now. I don't like this. It's been a year of judgment free.
Can I switch teams to?
You had your choice. You had a chance.
Dang it.
I actually don't think I offered him a choice.
Oh,
no.
Sorry, I redacted that you had a choice. You're stuck with us. It was your only option.
All right.
But for people who are listening, we are still recording from our own individual homes, but we've added Zoom so we can see each other, even though you'll never see us. But it probably means we'll be saying or doing weird things to with each other. You'll be just very confused for no reason. So it should be a party.
If there's sudden laughs or something, it's because we're giving each other incredibly judgmental looks. So it's going to be...
Which Nathan and I will professionally just ignore, and Cole will always call out.
It's not I always call... It's just weird stuff throws me off! That was bad timing! That was not fair! That was not my fault! Okay, whoever just walked behind Nathan's screen, it's not my fault! Did you have them on cue? Was it like, oh hey, we're gonna say this because we know it's gonna pause Cole, and
you know
then
how hard
boom!
it is to coordinate that? That's really tough. I was like, I had to be like on, because I didn't even know we were gonna do Zoom tonight. That was the thing that just kind of developed through natural need, and I was like, oh cool, there's ways to mess with Cole. There's so many more ways to mess with Cole. I didn't know the potential is finally. Oh, I look forward to the many ways. I'll suddenly have a cat show up and look at you.
We should. Oh, that would be adorable. Okay, we should totally get into this.
Talk about the show?
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to do characters? We want to talk about the storylines? How do you guys want to start this? Because I my brain's going all over the place.
Well, I think probably the storyline. The characters lead into the storyline. Really,
I was gonna say we kind of need to know who these people are.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of relevant. And what if somebody hasn't seen the MCU? And before anybody says anything, I know lots of people who have used quarantine to, for the first time, watch the MCU. So
which has me so heartbroken because that Endgame moment in the theater can never be touched. Oh,
it wasn't that great.
it was so good. It was
Alex, let's not just say random things to hurt Cole. Other people get hurt too, you know? When you do a shotgun blast of hate, you know, other people get splattered with all the
sorry.
pain. And,
It's just that when you know they're coming back, it's just not as heartbreaking as you want it to be. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Left. Everyone getting their moment. The theater cheering. I was emotional. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about Endgame. Yeah. We're talking about Falcon. Let's talk about Falcon.
On your left, Falcon.
And the Winter Soldier.
Right. So in this one, we are following Falcon and Bucky, who is the Winter Soldier or the White Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah. As he's deemed by the Wakandans.
So can we get a little bit of Bucky's history for people who maybe haven't seen the movies or don't remember all of it?
I can gladly fill that in. All right.
How did I know you could?
I don't know. It's just one of those random guesses, and also looking at the camera, going like, "Oh, good." Okay. So James Buchanan Barnes, nicknamed Bucky by his buddy Stephen Rogers. You might know him as some guy, Lieutenant America or something. He is his friend growing up. Just like he lived in the 40s with him. Like they joined the war together. Well, actually, Steve kind of joined a little bit later, and Bucky was in the same unit with Steve Rogers, and started watching his back. He was kind of a sniper, his sniper like eye in the sky, kind of keeping an eye out for enemy combatants that want to take out Cap. So Bucky, on a mission, tragically gets injured and disappears and is presumed dead for a bit. And
tragically gets injured and presumed he gets knocked off a train.
Yeah, I mean, you bounce back from that, right? Like as you do, and
people do,
as you do, and
I mean, you bounce. I don't know, back. Definitely a couple of bounces as you go down the mountain.
Yeah, how many times did Bucky just goofy fall like wow, and just like bam,
enough
bam.
to lose an arm.
I'm a little confused on where you have an issue here, Cole.
He says he just bounced back. He doesn't bounce back.
He does once he gets that super soldier serum, or at least the enemy version of it. And so Bucky gets his body is found by the Soviets, who decide not to return him to their allies, which is like, okay, interesting move there. And but maybe it's the proximity of knowledge of Captain America. That's why they grabbed him, and they wanted, there's say one super soldier, you start wanting to make it a more. It's kind of if an idea exists, you got people following up to try and steal it or recreate it. Like there's even a joke about the telephone being invented twice in a way because someone was like, "Oh, I heard of an idea," and so did someone else, and boom. So super soldier serum. Soviets got their own kind of version. It's more messed up apparently. It's like Soviets. You get messed. It's pain gives you strength. And so Bucky is turned into the Winter Soldier and is brainwashed. And you really think it's just constant, they keep deep freezing him throughout the years. And that's why he's still so young, because they only let him out for maybe a month at a time and then freeze him for like years and then send him to assassinate somebody, then freeze him, assassinate somebody, freeze him. And so add this process.
When a little kid watches something and then they explain it back to you later.
Mm-hmm. This moment, that's 100% Nathan.
Oh yeah,
it's like the little kid in the theater just reminding you everything, and you're like, we haven't even gotten to the Winter Soldier yet. We're still
dinosaurs yet.
Oh my god!
No. Do you not understand the curse of a true comic nerd? Every time someone goes like, "Wow, what about this character?" I try to explain the Green Lanterns. Oh man! Oh, but once time. Okay, so Green Lantern, you see, they're weak to yellow. Why are they weak to yellow? Well, before it's because, but later it's because of fear. Fear?
Because
of fear aspect. Yeah, and then it just keeps like anytime I explain anything of the superhero, anything, just the Marvel universe itself is pretty wackadoo. If you sit there and go like, let me explain, Captain America. Let me explain Thor, and it just goes on. So Winter Soldier, Bucky, he gets frozen. Brought back. Cap finally he gets thrown against Captain America, who helps break him of his brainwashing, at least a little bit. and enough for him to wander and be in pain and fear about the world. And so then he
mental pain. He's in
mental
mental
pain.
pain.
It's mental
He's not
pain.
physically like ah.
But
Yeah.
you're missing an arm, phantom limb. Who knows? So Bucky comes back to the present day. He has a robot arm. He's trying to fix for his sins, and he gets snapped too. By the way, like just like Bucky does not have a good time of it. He is like every time he gets a break, he gets knocked down even more. So
Did
he
you
gets.
Did you just bypass? Did you just ignore all of the Wakanda stuff?
Well, the Wakanda stuff is almost eye blinking. You're done. He gets brought to Wakanda. They help him. They help fix him up. Help get him back to a. I
It
guess
is
it's
something we never really see.
Yeah, not until this show. Before he's just like he's literally just throwing hay a thing, and they're like, "White Wolf, you're back up," and he's like, "Oh man." Like that was really the entire like Wakandan experience was frozen, then suddenly not frozen. Like, okay. They don't even explain how he's just like, yeah, we frozen, but we changed our mind. Like,
I kind of wish the show had given us more flashbacks of Wakanda.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that piece of it.
I think we would have gotten more had the pandemic not been a thing. I think the pandemic kicked a lot of...
It changed everything.
Yeah. Which we'll get into after, this childlike retelling of Bucky Barnes.
Excuse me. This is a very adult and upfront and clear and concise explanation of Bucky Barnes. I forgot about Civil War. You see, Bucky, one time when he was mind controlled, he's sent to kill old Tony's family, which is messed up. And
we saw a flashback of that in the show.
Yeah, we see more of that. It's more of the guilt, weighed upon our guy Bucky. And then he was snapped. He was brought back. 5 years have passed, and now Bucky is a man haunted by his past, and his best friend in the whole world is now kind of just chilling out somewhere. Yeah, so they never said he died. Like, they never said Steve died or not. But
hope for everyone at home who's listening to this was able to keep up because there was a lot. Like, Alix, you're the test. How'd he do?
I'm not gonna lie. I half listened and half just wanted to make fun of him.
Yeah, that is the entire Comic Geek experience. Like, you ask me for a question, I answer it, then I get belittled for it.
Yeah.
You're not getting belittled. You went in so much detail. The 30 to 45 minute show.
I got this. There's a character who's best friends with Captain America. Something bad happens. He loses his arm. He gets mind controlled. He's with the bad guys. He gets super strong. Wakanda people fix him. He disappears for 5 years. Now he's back and we're ready to start the show.
So he killed Tony's parents, and then he had to fight Iron Man, and then he was frozen by the Wakandans and then unfrozen.
Cole, why are you making that face?
You remember Jimmy Woo? It's like, well, it's an oversimplification, but you're correct. That's all that's going through my head with the Alix explanation. Okay. So
well, you can't.
What you're saying is you're not happy with anything. I try to explain it fully, and you're just there, just sitting there and laughing and just pointing. That's not good. That's not good. I now want to hear the Cole description that isn't a full-out steal of either of us.
This isn't the Bucky podcast. We're supposed to talk about so many other characters. I'm not going. Let's move.
It's too much for you. I got it.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. So he doesn't have to be put on the spot. What a nice choice, Cole, to just belittle our efforts.
Do the next one. I'll do whoever Alix picks. I'll do the next one.
Cut our legs out from under us. This is a very not a very good showing of you, Cole, of what is supposed to be a partnership of information, and together we should be building this story. Instead, I get cut down for my efforts.
Now, Bucky is played by Sebastian Stan.
Yes.
And his fabulous hair has to be acknowledged.
Yeah, that's her. Okay. Oh, wait, are we talking about his Winter Soldier hair? Big old long and in his face?
No, the now hair.
Oh, the now hair. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good thing, yeah.
He is actually second billing on this, which is, first billing goes to the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie. So, Cole.
Yeah, Cole.
Okay, so
I wait.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah.
Nathan took his glasses off for this.
Oh yeah, I'm
He
waiting.
can listen so much
I'm
better with his glasses
Here.
off.
I'm waiting to hear. Come on, man.
I don't think I've
explain it
ever
nice
seen
and
you without your
clean.
glasses before. This is a weird look for me.
Gotta throw you off. That's right.
Yeah, okay. So Anthony Mackie plays the Falcon, who's also Sam Wilson. And for anyone who's curious, Sam Wilson was first introduced in The Winter Soldier, and you see him running around Washington, D.C. He that's where the on the left joke comes from, because Steve Rogers keeps lapping him. And you discover that Sam Wilson is actually a help me here with the correct term. I don't want to say the wrong term. Therapist is the wrong word. Counselor. Grief counselor.
More to help soldiers back from war to reacclimate to civilian life.
Right. So that's his
Welcome
job.
for helping clarify a detail that you seem to be ready to forget.
I am sorry for not wanting to say the wrong thing in a very sensitive situation here. It's not like, oh, he lost a limb or like whatever. It's no. This is a very particular point. But anyway, so he's as Winter Soldier continues, Sam Wilson joins forces with Captain America. Then he becomes an Avenger. And then he becomes really close with Cap. And then as events in the Civil War occur, Bucky shows up. And it becomes like the dude with his best friend and his old best friend. So Bucky and Sam have that weird relationship in Civil War. And it was great. And it was what I was hoping this show was going to be, which is basically what we got. We'll get into that even more. But so there's that. And then as Civil War unfolded, Captain America, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, they all are deemed enemies of the state. And so Falcon and Cap get really close, as they are basically the Secret Avengers that we have never seen, and I would have paid to see that movie because I love the Secret Avengers. But they're part of the Secret Avengers, and then as Infinity War happens, he also gets snapped away for 5 years. And in Endgame, the moment where Alix is saying she didn't cry or have any emotional feelings at all, the portal opens on your left. He flies around.
I was actually thinking of
the snap.
When they actually snap and disappear. That's where I have no feelings.
Here's the thing about the snap and Sam Wilson. He actually has one of the saddest snaps because he's all alone. Everyone else was around another Marvel character, but when Sam Wilson was snapped, he's by himself. So that was a very dark, deep moment. But then he comes back. And at the end of Endgame, Steve Rogers is sitting on a bench and Steve Rogers has to go send about all the stones back in time. And Falcon's like, I would go with you. And Steve is like, I know. You're a good man, Sam. And then he gives Sam the shield when he comes back as an older man.
So how is any of this better than what Nathan did?
It was shorter. It was definitely shorter.
I'll say the first act and the second act were shorter. That third act, you're explaining. You're going.
It's pretty Marvel-y third act.
Down my path.
Oh, I'm sorry. Marvel-y third act? I'm in the zone then. I am ready to do this. If I'm like a Marvel show, that means I'm winning. I'll take my glasses off too.
The show, because that took far longer than I thought it would be, but it's fun to make fun of all three of us, so I enjoyed it. So obviously this picks up after the snap, after all the films that we've seen. There's no tie-in to WandaVision. So if you chose to skip WandaVision, you can still see this show and not feel like you're missing anything.
Yeah, they're separate stories.
So let's get into these stories.
Okay. In danger of Cole lashing out at me again. Let's see. So the story now we're setting up is it's after the snap. I think.
Don't tell the entire story, Nathan.
I'm telling the start of the thing. So the snaps occurred. Everyone's back. It's been maybe, it looks like I'm saying like roughly 5-6 months. Doesn't seem like a lot of time has passed.
Honestly, this might be the same timeline as Far From Home Spider-Man when he goes to Europe.
That might be actually, that might be where it's finally that kind of that area of time. So now Falcon is on the hunt for finding a group thanks to his new sidekick friend, Joaquin, I believe. Yeah, Joaquin Torres. And he's on the hunt for a group called the Flag Smashers. And Flag Smashers are created basically by the events of the snap.
Hold on. Spoilers in case no one...
Oh, yeah.
Just giving you... Because I'm ready. I can already sense the Nathan story going on here. So spoilers if you have not seen the show. Okay, Nathan, tag back in.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong in my description here. See how I'm just gonna slide us over?
Yeah.
So the Flag Smashers concept comes from the fact that during the snap, everybody lost people everywhere.
Half the population?
And all those countries needed help, and people were willing to travel and relocate and move to these locations to work, to rebuild, to connect, to be a community. And then 5 years later, everybody came back, and now there's a battle of, well, do these people belong here? They're living in the home of somebody who snapped, and
are they citizens or are they squatters?
Right. And so do they have a right to this country, to this land, to this home, to this existence, to this life that they've built in the last 5 years? And so the idea of the Flag Smashers is, hey, we're here. We came here to help. We belong here. Let's get rid of borders. Let's get rid of the idea of these countries and just be one.
Yeah. I loved everything about their plot. I cannot get enough of Marvel telling the stories of 5 years being what happened, and like the results of the 5 years of everyone coming back. Far From Home, when we see everyone playing, and then they all just come back in random spots. Aunt May saying she appeared back in her apartment and people thought she was a robber. Like the WandaVision. If you guys watch WandaVision, you see the blip in a different point. And I can't get enough of just seeing that. And I thought the Flag Smashers, in that sense, were very interesting. The problem I had with the Flag Smashers, outside of the initial concept, was it felt like they were out. It made no sense for this story. Because we had John Walker, we had Zemo, we have apparently Shadow Broker. Not Shadow Broker, that's Massive.
Power Broker.
Power Broker. Like, we had so much. Having them in it was confusing, but that's where the rumor kicks in. And Alex, am I allowed to go into the rumors, or you want me to wait? What do you think? Nathan, Alex, you want me to go down that?
The rumors of what's coming next?
No, of what the script was
production?
supposed to be.
Oh.
So the rumor...
Oh, that's okay. You could go into that.
Yeah! Okay, so the rumor was Marvel originally wrote that a pandemic occurred. Now, no one knows if it was a terrorist organization or if it was just, it's a pandemic. But as they were doing this, COVID happened, and at the time, only 3,000 deaths. So Disney and Marvel were like, hey, just in case this has the potential to be something huge, we should rewrite, we should redo stuff. And that's why there's the Flag Smashers steal vaccines for no reason. Why this woman who died alone in her bed from a very curable disease was very confusing with their motivation. And it would make her blowing up that building, Carly, or instead of it being like malicious, it was revenge. So that's what the rumor is. There's an article on Forbes that goes into it, but no one will ever say anything official. So everything that I just said was a rumor. It's fun to talk about, but it's just
happened with New Amsterdam. So during the pandemic, the first season or the first episode that came out of like the newer season, this was like beginning-ish pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main actors, and I can't remember his name, I'll look it up. But he flew to New York to film New Amsterdam, got COVID while he was there because this was like peak spiking, right?
Right.
And they were supposed to be doing pandemic episodes. And it's literally a video of them coming on and just being like, look, this is what the story was supposed to be. We're not doing it. It's too soon. Maybe someday we'll release the episodes. Here's a 5-minute clip of what you need to know to connect to the rest of the season. And then they just show that one little clip of like, these are the character growth things that happen between point A and point B. and that's it. And then they pick up the season really, I'm guessing about 2 episodes in. But I thought it was a really great way of like handling the situation of.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
The best they
giving
can.
Disney credit, like being like, hey, 3,000 people have died. Like the number's grown humongously since.
Considerably.
And if this show came out and it was a pandemic, it would have, with every issue that they covered, Dungeon Dive would have been a 2-hour episode. So,
yeah.
But
well, for me, I thought the Flag Smashers and their whole thing made perfect sense. Like it's really like it's that whole thing of just like you've lived in the place 5 years, everyone's dead, so you're living there, you live there, and then they're all back,
and it's
then
the family
it comes
home.
in a family home, and it's an impossible situation to go like you should leave, or I mean, they come back and they should leave their house, and it's a really one of those like I thought the writers really thought it out in a great way. They go like half of everyone's gone, suddenly they're all back. The resources are almost exactly the same. How do you like a lot of issues came up, and then they just went like first come first serve, and they were supposed to be here, so get out. And it's the easy way because people want the easy answer and don't really think about the stuff.
The bank scene where Sam Wilson was like, "There's funds to help people who were snapped away," and the bank's like, "Too many of you. Sorry." I went, "That's so
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, and then you just go like, "Wow, that's like now." It's like, yeah, it's like now, isn't it?
It was creepy parallels. It was beyond creepy parallels.
The actor was Daniel Day Kim, by the way.
Oh, perfect. Okay, Alex, I'm dying to hear how you feel about John Walker. Because the thing that has me excited about John Walker is because I'm pretty sure Nathan and I are on the same page of we loved his performance, but I hated him. And I loved how much to hate him. Every time he came on screen, he was like the worst person. So Alex, I'm very excited to hear like your take on John Walker.
Yeah. So I kind of talked about this a little bit on Dungeon, so I'm going to try to do it a little bit differently. But one thing I'll say in both episodes, because it just needs to be said, is that he has a very punchable face. Like, he just has that face where, like, I want to punch you, but I don't know why. And I remember the first time he came on screen, I was like, "Oh, that's a punchable face."
And the first time he comes on screen, he's looking down on us. He's 100% looking down on us.
And just the mask doesn't fit right with like the jawline, and I sat there and I said that, and JPG was like, "Well, yeah. Anytime he gets hired for something, you know it's a character you're meant to hate." And I was like, but it's Captain America. And he's like, "Yeah, but you're gonna be meant to hate him." Like, he's like, "I can already tell you, based on the character and probably comic books and 80 years of history, that like you're meant to not like this guy."
Mm-hmm.
So of course I didn't like him. And I think they did a good job of like, okay, you kind of feel for him. Okay, well, he's a total turd. Okay, well, you kind of feel him. Yeah, but he's still a D-bag. Okay, but you kind of feel for him. No, don't. We're going to make sure you really can't. Okay, we got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, my favorite thing about John Walker is the symbolism with him. And I'm going to stay away from the politicalness of it because I'm pretty sure that's where Dungeon Dive is going to take over. So you have that. Look forward to that till tomorrow. But the fact that he is everything the government wanted Captain America to be. Because for everyone who watched the MCU, Steve Rogers got in the government's face and argued with them on every single issue. And so John Walker is a yes man. And him stepping in to be the mantle of Captain America is the most corporate decision ever. The last guy was annoying, so we're going to replace him with our guy, especially since the guy that got deemed Cap turned it down. So now we can do this scot-free, we're fine. So like, I just,
Let's say, it's like you already have the replacement coming in. You're like, everyone's going to hate the replacement. They're not going to, it's like, Van Halen, you got the original, you got the original voice, and then you got it replaced with Sammy Hagar, and people just not going to like it. Not the same. They're not the same. And it's like Steve Rogers wasn't even the government's first choice. and like they
wanted
the
the
government
bully.
really wanted him. Yeah, they're like they wanted the bully. They wanted him, and then some other guy kind of wanted Steve instead. Like that's kind of Steve's life, and we never meet John Walker when he's a guy training to be a soldier, trying to save lives. We meet Steve when it matters the most, when he's at his weakest, when he's trying to be good.
But there's a good comparison.
A totally different feeling.
Steve always introduced himself as Steve Rogers. John Walker introduces himself as Captain America.
Yeah,
and there's a huge difference in the personalities.
Well, I think with Steve Rogers, we got an underdog story. And I think with John Walker, you get an overdog story.
Like he's
or an overlord story, because that's where I saw him in his movie, Overlord.
I mean, I'm committing to this. I'm in it now.
I like commit to the bit.
To me, it's like not only is he just there, but he's like top dog there. And so because he started at the top, you're ready for him to fall, to fail. Like you're rooting for him to fail, right?
Yeah.
So he's definitely an overdog in this situation.
One of my favorite moments, which is a horrible moment with John Walker, is his final scene as U.S. agent. Because before he's U.S. agent, he's Captain America. He's not Captain America, but he's wearing the red, white, and blue, and he has a chance for revenge or save the van, and he chooses save the van. And because of that, Val is like, hey, you're going to be working for me now, blah, blah, blah. You're a U.S. agent. And it seemed, how I took that scene, is all of the personal growth it seemed to have happened in that moment was just thrown away. Because he's like, I'm back! I'm like, you forgot all of the lessons that you just learned. You're just going to keep moving forward like you didn't learn anything. And like, it was so true to his character, how much I wanted to punch him so hard in the face of that moment.
Yeah, it's a moment where you're like, okay, so you've learned your lesson. Now you have humbleness, and so he's just like, hey, here we go. It's like, whoa, no. And you're supposed to be like, I don't know if I'm, up to this challenge and I have to earn it. Instead, he's like, nah, I earned it. No, I'm good. We're good. Like, the whole thing about my partner. Yeah, I'm good. I mean,
he really never learned his lesson to begin with, because when everything was taken away, I mean, it was almost like a child, right? Like, screw it, you're going to take away my costume, you're going to take away my shield, I'm going to make my own.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, huff tough. And then he wasn't punished for showing up, right?
Right.
And then he didn't really, besides his shield getting beat up, there weren't any consequences for him. So where was there ever actually a time for him to learn his lesson before going on to the next?
So I would say the closest thing you have to that is just him choosing to do the right thing instead of get revenge. And like I said, you're not supposed to like him. You're not supposed to be looking at John Walker and go, that's the guy going places. No. You were supposed, he's not redeemable. So when I say learn your lesson, grow, I mean it as the most okay, the bar is this high. You barely meet the bar. Like, that's his personal... It's not like other, Loki, where you're like, oh, I see, we're growing. Oh, you're dead. Okay, now back to the bar. But, it's not like that.
Yeah, but he comes back.
No.
Yeah. But, okay, so you have punchable face, and then we have the person we're supposed to hate, but the internet fell in love with him dancing. Baron Zemo, come on!
He had some good moves.
Come on!
He had some good moves, man. You can't deny it. He had skills. I'm like, yeah. Defeat, roll the dice. Yeah, shake the dice, throw it. Shake the dice, throw it. Yeah, man. Zemo got some moves, man. Not really. It was pretty good.
The thing I appreciate, the thing I appreciate about Zemo in this series is they stayed true to his character. He didn't suddenly do something different. He wasn't suddenly trying to rule the world. Zemo was exactly the same motives as he had in Civil War.
So I'm not going to lie, I don't remember him from Civil War, but I also am like Dory the Fish, where I don't remember much. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he might have been really important. It's just bad memory. But for me, I feel like they made him very lovable, and they had him say some very important things that made him... Right, you feel for Thanos a little bit, right? You're like, okay, what you're doing isn't great, but I get your logic.
at least you understand him. Like you don't
Right.
have to like, go like, yeah, go Thanos. Like you gotta go, okay, I can see where he's coming from.
I can see where
Like
he's
Zemo.
coming from, where he's like,
Yeah.
hey, superior leads to this.
Yeah.
And this is why having these superior people is dangerous.
So Alex, do you know why he feels this way about superhero people? Do you remember?
No.
All right, Nathan, this is your time to shine, buddy.
Okay,
Tagging you in.
Let's see. So, and back in
You have 30 seconds.
1967,
Oh,
all right, Zemo is a baron from Sokovia. Sokovia from Civil War. I'm not Civil. I'm sorry. From Age of Ultron is the country that Ultron destroyed. Like he was destroyed. Ultron came into existence because of old Tony Stark and a bunch of really powerful people deciding they know it's best for the world. That blew up in his face. We got Sokovia destroyed, and Zemo's direct family is wiped out. His son, his wife, his father, they were all killed because of Ultron's actions. So he sits there and goes like, what's the main problem all this? Superpowered people. So Zemo goes on his own mission, and he explains himself pretty. I thought it was one of the best lines from Civil War was him just going like, I have patience. That is what my power. I have patience. I know I can't beat these people one-on-one. So
patience and experience.
And knowledge. He's able to gather those together. What makes him Zemo so dangerous is that he's willing to wait. He's not like in a huge hurry. Like Loki's like always ready, just like but Zemo's the guy who's like, I can't beat you today, but I can probably beat you in a month. And it's like, what do you mean? I got plans. So he was the reason why Iron Man and Captain America fought. Like he got that he used Bucky directly to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And through Bucky's own sins that were cast upon him, and later on in the show, you can see that Zemo feels bad about that. He's like, you are an innocent party in this. I do feel bad about that, but that doesn't mean Zemo wouldn't do it again, and especially if he's accomplishing his goal. And his goal was to take out to at least lower the playing field, to not have so many superpowered people telling how everyone else should live.
When Zemo caught Carly and all the super soldier serum fell on the floor, that to me was the test to see how this show was going to be true to Zemo.
He's gonna grab it.
I was like, he's gonna inject, he's gonna become everything he hates. I was ready for that. But when he starts smashing it, that's when I went, they know this character in the way that they've been writing him so far in the MCU, because that was the most true to character motive. I think in a lot of TV shows still don't do that, where you're like, well, the character did this, but now you're doing that. Like Game of Thrones, you can see it everywhere. But it's this one, it was so, and it was the music changed too, because it was, he didn't just stomp it. It was like full of hatred. How much everything that it embodies, like he was like gonna make sure there wasn't gonna be anything to rescue. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
It's kind of funny because, we see him and he's talking about, hey, this is my issue and this is the problem with superior people, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I'm a baron and I have money. Well, that's another form of being superior, right? Like, that's the issue that we're seeing with the Falcon, where he's talking about like, hey, you guys are all above all of this and you're making decisions for people, I'm going to use quotations and say below you, and you're not putting those people that you're affecting in the room. It's very similar. It's almost hypocritical in that idealism.
Yeah, it shows that Zemo does deem himself superior, that he can make these decisions, that he can kill people. If you can kill someone, there's a moral quandary there. It's like Captain America, Steve Rogers never really wants to kill anybody. Zemo is totally willing to. And that's always a question. If you're willing to cross that moral line, I mean, where's it stop? And it doesn't stop.
Well, the thing about Zemo that I found interesting was, even though he was above the people, unlike the senator, he knew how to talk to the people. He walked the streets. He knew, like, the kids with the candy. He knew how to speak the language. He knew how to, well, I guess because that was Sokovia, I guess. So, like, that was his native language.
I think he's Sokovian immigrants, yeah.
And if you know how to manipulate, you know how to manipulate.
Yeah. Like, with those kids, he was like, you can't trust them, don't, whatever. And I was like, oh. But
Zemo.
then what is it? From after that, we get like one of the greatest scenes in the entire series, where the Wakanda women just beat the snot out of John Walker.
That was a cool element I did not expect them to add to the show. I mean, I was always like sitting back there, but you're like, they're probably gonna just not really, focus on the fact that in Civil War, Zemo straight up kills their king. Like he straight up assassinates him, and like it's like Wakanda. Yeah, they're not gonna let that happen. And I like that they like no, Wakanda should be involved. Like it's not gonna be the main drive, but definitely should be involved.
Well, here's my question about that. That was a little confusing to me. So you have Wakanda, who sends their top warriors to go get Zemo so they can bring him to the raft. And not back to Wakanda for judgment.
Oh, that's T'Challa. That's a Black Panther call. Wakanda's not trying to be... Remember, he's trying to... Okay, T'Challa, let's go and examine this. T'Challa didn't want to, like, become the world power. Like, our rules over all of yours. You have to give and take. And they all agreed that he should be in the raft, and it's a prison. Okay. I mean, they're not going to...
Nathan, don't forget, T'Challa was blipped away.
Well, not during this. He was back. Yeah.
Yeah, but who was King of Wakanda?
Know who's in charge now.
Well, that's a totally different element that we have to... Let's assume he's still alive in the universe.
Here's what I will say, though. So if somebody does something bad, and they do something bad in the U.S., and they do something bad in Italy, and they do something bad in Greece, there's going to be a battle over, hey, who gets to keep him?
Yep.
And so even though Wakanda, yes, he did something major and we got to see it, he was in a German prison, right? He did something major that maybe we saw or didn't see again. I can't really remember. And he could have done damage in other countries that we didn't see. So it could be that to keep the peace, just like they feel like, hey, we got burned, well, those other places got burned, and they all agreed that this is a good place for him.
Yeah, that sounds like one of those like diplomatic agreements. Like, okay, as long as he's not just on a beach enjoying his life, okay, we can all agree. As long as he's in prison, okay, he got out of it, but we'll help put him back in.
But he clearly was still making moves because at the end we get that campy smile that I'm not gonna lie made me laugh when he looks at the camera and he smiles and he goes lays on his bed. So good.
Well, I mean, again, a man with patience and experience. Like he escaped once. As soon as you escape once, it's now it's just like, how many more times can I do this?
And he heard that those people died, right? Nobody actually lived.
Well,
he technically lived, but
I was gonna say the flag smasher that was thrown the Hudson, he's alive. And
the three who got arrested.
Yeah, which makes me sad because the Asian actor who's I'm pulling up IMDb right now.
Is he from Not Dead Like Me? Zombies. Walker. Something.
Walking Dead?
That's the one. I was like flirting with it.
No? Question mark?
I was like, Not Dead Like Me, not Texas Walker. It's right there.
Texas Walking Dead.
Maybe he was? I don't know. I'm trying to find his profile, and obviously he doesn't look like how he does in the show, so I'm really out of luck right now. But the actor posted on social media how much he loves Captain America, and he was able to take a picture with the shield.
Yeah.
And he was super scared. He was like, I didn't know if they were going to let me do it, because it's Disney, it's Marvel. But because he was geeking out so hard, one of the creators of the shield was like, oh, hey, this is from the original shield. It's a paint chip. You can have it. And he put the paint chip in his phone case. And he's like, I am part of the shield. And I'm like, that's a geek. I wish I
frame that so fast.
Like he's like, I always have it with me with his phone case. And I'm like, I really wanted when he got arrested. I was like, he's with us. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. Dead. No.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
But at least he got a paint chip.
Hyam? That was probably too Jewy.
Yes.
Desmond Hyam?
Desmond for that man.
I want to add the on the name because that's like what I would do. But
right. But yeah, no, he was the super nerd, and it was adorable just like reading his comment and all that stuff. It was so good.
Yeah. It's nice to know that they let geeks on these things.
Question. Okay, so Sharon Carter, spoiler alert, even though it was obvious from like the first 5 seconds of her, is the power broker. Do you think she played Sam with her sad, sappy story in the sense that she just knew, like, if I said this, he's gonna help me?
I think she lied with the truth. The truth was she was abandoned for 5 years because I'm pretty sure she didn't get snapped, so she was surviving for So she was surviving for 5. What?
She was.
She was.
So in Endgame, when you see Peter Parker, you also see Shuri, and then before that, you see Sharon Carter. I believe when you see Doctor Strange, I forget where, but you see her face far. It's farther away. It's not up close for us to get like, oh, obviously she was filling the camera lens.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So then, no, it wasn't Snap. I'm talking about the events of Civil War. So she was alive during that whole time, and Steve never helped her out.
Kind of just left her out there. Out. He was not exactly living the high life.
He wasn't, but he did break into a prison to get some of his buddies out. So why not Sharon? Why was she left out in the cold? So like those questions are asked. Like that's like cemented. She had to survive on her own after being pretty much disowned by everybody. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, yeah, sad story. But she's also a spy. Spies use whatever methods they need to get the solution they want. And so I think, like, yeah, she was lying, but also telling the truth. That's why it worked so well.
Yeah, but it just feels like such a 180. Like her character threw me off. So she's played by Emily Van Camp, and if you don't know what she's from, she was very famous in Everwood, and I've just never been a fan of.
No.
And I'm just like, every time she comes on screen, I'm like, I
mean, I don't have a problem with her character, and I guess I'm the only one who saw it, but like, I don't know, the character growth made sense. It was pretty predictable for her, I think.
Yeah, it seemed like set up a lot of road for that you would get there.
She was my Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Wait, she was?
No. She was not in it. She was Alix. No one gets your reference.
Right. So Pirates of the Caribbean 1, perfect film. Pirates of the Caribbean 2 only existed to get you to Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yeah.
It's my Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Oh, interesting. That is interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Well, okay. So going off that, if Sharon Carter is basically Pirates of the Caribbean 2, and it's just a bridge to get us the third one, who do you think she's on the phone with? Who she's talking to about getting the secrets out?
Could be Val.
Oh.
I mean, Val's easily playing everybody. Like, clearly she's playing everyone. And like, yeah, why not have a source of a more super soldier serum or anything else?
Could also be any worker she had that like will become a bigger, more important person, was a background, barely nobody in this.
Also, like Spider-Man Far From Home. I was the guy that couldn't build this stuff because Tony Stark did it in the cave with scraps. Oh.
Yeah, no, Far From Home did an amazing homage of all the other stuff. If we want to talk about Easter eggs, the final episode, when they throw the gas canister, did that look something familiar to you guys?
Jaws?
Do you know what I saw? I saw a goblin bomb.
Oh yeah, love
Harry Osborn.
Yeah, Harry and Norman Osborn.
Possible now. Where's he gonna get all that technology and money?
I have no idea what you're saying.
Oh, so in Spider-Man, the big bad villain is Norman Osborn, and he is the Green Goblin. There's also the Hobgoblin, which is rumored to be in the new Spider-Man movie with the best friend. And their weapons of choice are these pumpkin bombs. And it's basically like these little circle cylinders that in the comics look like pumpkins. And they throw them and they explode, or there's gas. So in this one, when they threw them in and the canisters opened and the smoke came out, all I saw was a Spider-Man villain. And I was like, they're setting the groundwork! This is the introduction! So when we see this later, we're going, oh!
Well, since
Maybe.
we're 50 minutes in, where else do you guys see this going? Because we're almost out of time.
Well, they've already kind of announced that there's going to be a new Captain America movie with Anthony Mackie as Captain America Falcon.
But no Chris Evans. Chris Evans is not rumored to be part of this project.
Good, he shouldn't be part of it.
Yeah, it's going to muddy the waters.
I honestly think moving forward, they're just gonna have Sam and Bucky just work together in spy type work. Since Secret Avengers is like on the docket of what's coming,
which I assume ties into the US agent thing.
No, Secret Invasion is about Skrulls infiltrating everything. So the reason why I think they're going to be part of that is because the rumors of Captain America on the moon, I think aren't rumors. I think they're real. I think old man Steve Rogers is on the moon with Nick Fury, and they're working with the Skrulls. And then we'll have this cute moment of Falcon going, "Oh, they are," or Captain America going, "Oh, you are on the moon," and then Falcon being like, "Yeah," because new Falcon is going to be his buddy Reyes. In the comics, he takes over as Falcon, so that's why, in my brain, Falcon and Cap, when I say that, I'm talking about Reyes and Sam Wilson.
That's the military guy that, like, he was like, "Oh, you can keep those."
Yes!
Yeah, I figured he was going to take over as Falcon.
So, like, that's where I see them going, is, like, their spy mission will lead them to the moon, and then that's when Steve Rogers can be like, "About time you guys got here."
Or not. Or he could just not be in it anymore.
Yeah, he just be retired.
Alex, I don't mean to break this to you. It's heavily implied that he's coming back. In Endgame, we have the technology to make old people young again. So don't be surprised if Steve Rogers comes back. Not to be Captain America, because in the comics, Sam Wilson is Captain America, and Steve Rogers is just Steve Rogers.
Okay, here's the thing. Anthony literally just made this joke to me, and a mutual friend of ours made this same joke, but it's Skywalker, right? Like, just let it go. They had their 10 years. Say goodbye. We don't need Tony Stark. We don't need Steve Rogers. If they're dead, let them be dead. You want to see them again? Do an old, like, hey, this was something that happened. This is a prequel, or this was an in-between. Cool, that's great. But we're moving on. This is the future. They're dead. They came back. They're dead again. Let them be dead.
Welcome to comic books, Alex. Welcome to comics. They're never done. They're never free. Once you come in, you're part of our world forever. Welcome.
Cole, I want to look at your spending history, because I think you might have donated to a certain billboard that wants Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man.
That bothers me so much. Just say goodbye.
Robert Downey Jr.'s death cannot be undone. It's the most beautiful ending, but he can come back as AI.
He gets all the credit. It's the white man savior, and he gets all the credit for everything that whole freaking team did, and everybody's giving him way too much credit and way too much power, and it bothers the hell out of me.
Oh, hot take from Alex.
Travel! He figured it out! And then he sacrificed his life! If anything,
nobody else sacrificed their lives, because guess what? If people hadn't fallen off a cliff twice, he couldn't have done anything anyway.
Okay, there's the thing. Natasha may not be dead. But Natasha may be coming back, because when Steve has to return to certain stones, it could literally be like, "Yo, I want my girl back." And then she comes back. We don't know what happens to Natasha.
Let him be dead.
She might not be dead. She's got a movie coming out.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, but that's the past movie, right?
Maybe. Everyone's like, it's the past, but it could easily have an end credits where she comes out of the shadows like, "I've been me the entire time." Or they sacrificed a Skrull. Like, a Skrull is what died on the.
That
on
could
the
be leading
thing.
that. Yeah.
Oh, just let them all be dead. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's the problem, because they got to be able to separate and move on. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to reboot the entire universe.
Legitimately, there's a reason Doctor Who has worked. As much as you don't want to say goodbye to Tennant, you know he gets 3 seasons and it's the next. Whether you like Matt Smith or not, you're like, okay, cool. If I don't like him, I can skip to the next, because I know I have 3 seasons and we move the hell on. And it works. It works if you let go. If you don't let go, if you don't teach people how to let go of these characters, as kids, they don't learn how to let go of people in real life because they never have to let go of their characters. And B, you're stuck and you just start recycling and new 52ing this shit. Sorry, Anthony. And like, I don't need that. We did 10 years of work. I've done the work. I put in the time. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Let's move on.
It was all about that rant until you threw DC under the bus. You really? The horse is down. Stop kicking the easy down horse, okay? Look, as a DC fan, I have little to cling to, so just let me have my little stuff. You don't need to be like, oh, hey, remember that one thing that was supposed to be a big deal and then ended up, like, choking at the end? Kick.
I like that she's kicking while staring in the face.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of you. I want to stop and go. That rant that came from 2008. That's been building since like the start of the Marvel universe. She was just like boom, boom, boom. Mary's a comic geek. It just builds up more and more. The madness of it. Respect. Also, we're probably gonna get some hate mail. So congratulations.
Right. Send your hate mail to Cole.
Oh, that's right.
Everyone knows it was you. Okay, Nathan, you didn't say where you think this is gonna go.
All right, this is well, like this whole thing has been just like what I mean. With like the pandemic is an honest to God factor to a lot of choices they had to make. Like a lot of things they were gonna make shows, sure, but then they were supposed to like lead into bigger things perhaps. And now that the pandemic is hopefully winding down at some point, they're gonna do Captain America 4, and that makes you wonder like what's the stories they can tell with that still. And I mean, one thing we know already is that Red Skull's still alive. Like weird ghost Red Skull leaves it pretty open for him to like possess someone, which has been a story in the comic. So this will build more fire for Alix to just go like, what? Why? Why can't you just go?
It will be a different actor though, so
it will be.
Technically he did go bye-bye.
There you go. There's your.
Anthony said that people can direct their hate mail to me on the Discord. So make sure you guys join the Discord. The link is on our social medias and we post it on Twitch. So join the Discord and yell at Cole for all the things I said.
Oh, yeah. There we go. What a good deal.
Women Wednesday, ma'am. They can yell at you in person.
They can find a way.
I can't read fast enough half the time, but yes, you could try.
So all of this is going to be leading to Dark Avengers. I'm just seeing it more and more clearly. Dark Avengers. They're creating like that's a classic trope for you bring superheroes in existence. Their opposite number must show up. Mm-hmm. So you got Captain America, you got U.S. Agent, and you got you're going to get more like Thor. They're already introducing some possibilities in Love and Thunder,
like Zeus or something.
Yeah. So there's like some more. I think we're now in phase 5. Whatever phase is supposed to be 4.
Phase 4.
4 kind of going to kind of this weird tipsy-topsy one. And I think we're going to be going to a big showdown between the Avengers and the Dark Avengers. And this is like the first kind of step. As we're seeing, what the main thing of this whole thing is that it's a superhuman arms race. Because now every country, I mean, they can't deny the fact that half the population was taken out by the whim of one superpowered dude. So they're like, that can't happen again. We need to have more than just one Avengers team. And then they want them answering to their country in particular. So it's everyone's back now. The population's back up. More people to experiment on, right? Evil corporations.
Just give me my X-Men, man. Why'd you pick new Dark Avengers, which is more plausible than giving me my X-Men? I need my X-Men in the MCU.
It would be good. And a good analogy for what would be coming up. And they could use the snap as the way the mutants come back. Powers get activated.
No, 3 times. It happened 3 times.
God, it did, yeah. And
for people who are wondering, we all watch this on Disney Plus, obviously. I would say that although there are references you're gonna miss, they do really great with flashbacking enough that I feel like you can get away with just watching this show. Mm-hmm. And then if you really, really want or need to, you can either go back and watch the movies or listen to Nathan just give you the full history.
Oh, we're going to have that as a separate podcast where I explain everything. I just forgot to say the Tavern team extended. Get ready.
4-hour cut.
4 hour. Only 4? Okay, I guess.
The Nathan cut.
All right, I'll cut it down. 4 hours. You're strangling me, Cole.
joke and I complain, I did really enjoy this show. What about you guys?
Oh, I 100%. I love this show so much. It covers so many different grounds in terms of MCU stuff, real world situations that we didn't even get to talk about on this show.
We do talk about them a lot in Dungeon.
Which is what I assumed.
Yeah.
It's seriously, this show covers so much. It was so good. And it was a lot nicer to watch than WandaVision because I can just enjoy, like, it wasn't like Mephisto. It was, hey, the real world sucks, and we're gonna talk about it.
Let's talk about that.
Let's discuss.
So for me, man, yeah, I love this show. There's like just to the straight, like you don't even really have to know a lot of the Marvel universe to really enjoy it. Like there's these two dudes who are superheroes, and they got a great chemistry. Like that alone is a selling point. They have great chemistry of just animosity that's actually kind of friendship, and then through this show, we were able to see more growth than a movie can really do, like feasibly. This was 6 episodes where they could really just start from point A, you suck, no, you suck, to finally point Z and go like, okay, you know what, man, I'm understanding you, but I'm still gonna rib you because that's our friendship. We make fun of each other, and like just a show on friendship is this the one I really dug, and then just great action and just great dialogue. I'm like, this is mwah. Like, this
So
is
our
exactly
intro advice is that you should definitely watch this. Guiding your next pop culture journey, this has been an episode of In Quest of Geeks Tavern Team Edition.
Please check out our weekly Dungeon Dive and Tavern Team episodes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any other podcatchers. And make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe.
If you'd like even more adventures with us, our bi-weekly actual play RPG is in the same feed under Issues, where you can listen to us play as teen superheroes using the Masks A New Generation system.
Please follow us on social media at In Quest of Geek, and don't forget to subscribe to our weekly Twitch streams at twitch.tv/InQuestOfGeek.
As we bring this adventure to a close, here's what you can expect from our next episode.
Click, snap. Oh, we're doing Pokemon Snap. I don't know. You're in a cart. You're gonna be going around. You're gonna see a Pokemon. Take a picture. All right. You're still going around. You see a couple Pokemon. Take a picture. At least that was the N64 version. I have no idea what this Nintendo Switch version's gonna be like, but we're gonna be talking about it because reasons.
Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, Pokemon's great. I don't know why we're doing Pokemon Snap.
Because that's what just came out.
Mortal Kombat! We could have done
Mortal Kombat was supposed to be, and then they messed up their release date.
So I'm being punished?
Yes.
Seems about right, yeah. For other people's actions.
Weren't you
send your hate mail to Cole.
Anyway?
No.
Really?
I've never been a Pokemon. That's your husband,
yeah,
Alix!
But you didn't want the game either. Nathan, were you planning to play it?
Only if you needed me to. I have my Pokemon Sword and Shield already. So
yeah, I have Pokemon Sword and Shield.
So there's a possibility we're doing Pokemon Snap, and there's a possibility that I'm very outnumbered, and by next week we might be doing something else. We'll figure it out. But thank you for listening, Brave Questers, and remember, use what you've learned today to build better character.